Just setting up the TikTok camera, and then we are good to go. All right. What is going on? It is ya boy Shawnee Sean, and the Cincinnati Bengals did something and re-signed both their big-time wide receivers in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase to long-term extensions. Jamar Chase is now the highest-paid wide receiver in the league, so congratulations to all the Bengals fans out there. You are going to be doing pretty good. Big time wide receiver with this trio of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins for the next at least 4 years. It looks like Jamar Chase did a 4-year, $161 million extension, and T. Higgins did a 4-year, $115 million extension. So Joe Burrow has targets for the foreseeable future, and Bengals fans should feel relieved considering they have one of the best wide receivers in the league right now, and Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow were teammates at LSU, so it's nice that they have been able to throw the ball to each other for since age 18, and now Jamar Chase is only 25 years old, so the fact that he's playing with T. Higgins and Joe Burrow for the foreseeable future is pretty awesome for both of them. In other free agent news, Joey Bosa is focused on winning championships, but no one really cares. But he should be a nice addition. Cooper Rush signs a 2-year deal with the Ravens worth up to $12 million, so nothing too crazy there. What's up, AJ Brown? How you been? I'm excited that you're catching touchdowns for the Eagles. It's pretty awesome. And great season. Inner excellence, baby. Train yourself. But yeah, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are definitely up in like the top echelon of wide receiver duos. But with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, they're also up there. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams is definitely going to be a nice combo. Justin Jefferson and Addison are also a pretty nice combo. I'm really excited to see DK Metcalf and George Pickens play ball. Still curious to see who their quarterback's going to be. Right now, the rumors are most likely between Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and maybe even Mason Rudolph, as crazy as that may seem. He's probably going to be the backup, but and I really love the Miami wide receivers too, with Tyreek and Waddle. But I don't know. Tua was hurt a lot this year, so it was really hard to judge Miami in particular. But yeah, I'm excited. Eagles added A.J. Dillon a couple days ago. Nice thick-legged guy to push Jalen's tush. So pretty excited to see A.J. Dillon in the Eagles' backfield with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley and A.J. Dillon can both squat like 450 pounds, so it's pretty ridiculous how strong those guys are. Eagles should definitely need a pass catcher or someone to fill that Kenny G role. I like Will Shipley to fill it, but he's more of like a one-cut hitter, a runner. So I would imagine that the Eagles will probably add a running back in either later in the draft or in free agency, just to add some depth and a training camp body at minimum. Bosa on the Bills is I don't know if he's the missing piece, because I had really high expectations for when they signed Von Miller, but I feel like it's just a similar replacement to some level. Bosa's a little younger. And he should be a nice addition. Don't get me wrong. I really like the Bills, and I think that they'll still compete in the regular season and get to maybe the AFC Championship. But it's really, can they get over the hump of the Chiefs, and if not the Chiefs, then maybe the Ravens or the Bengals. A lot of the AFC teams are still looking very good. Jordan Mason was traded for a sixth round or a pick swap, it looks like. So the Vikings now have the running back to back up Aaron Jones, so that will be, just some depth, really. Allen taking the Bills to the championship. No elite offense is amazing. Yeah, I'm really curious to see what the Bills do at wide receiver. They lost Mac Hollins. He was signed with the Patriots, and I'm pretty sure Amari Cooper is still a free agent out there. I did like the trade for Amari Cooper, and he had some ups and downs. It wasn't super consistent, but when you have Josh Allen, the MVP of the league, he's going to get the ball to all these guys. Stephon Diggs is also still a free agent. But the most exciting news really is between Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson and where they decide to go. Right now, Pittsburgh is the leading candidate for both of them, but I know Minnesota would be very interested in Aaron Rodgers if he doesn't go there. It would be cool to follow in Favre's footsteps and do those 3 steps. But then at the same point, the Giants are also pretty interested. I saw on Instagram Shedeur Sanders is hanging out with Geno Smith. I'm pretty sure the Raiders have the 6th pick in this year's draft. So if Shedeur falls, I wouldn't be surprised if he went there. I think Geno would be an amazing mentor and would also be the guy that could potentially, just start a couple games and then Shedeur would take over. Cowboys going 6-11, no improvements. Yeah, I am not super impressed with what the Cowboys have done. I do like that they got some running backs in the guy from Denver and Miles Sanders, but they have a big hole on offensive line now that their guard retired. So, and they still have to get Micah Parsons a long-term deal. So, Jerry Jones just really likes to wait. It's a shame as a Cowboys fan, I'm sure. But I'm an Eagles fan, and Howie Roseman gets deals done early, and it works out really well. As far as the Bengals and my background right now, I think that it is, it's awesome that they signed Higgins and Chase, and I hear that they're still in the works with potentially trying to retain Trey Hendrickson. So that would be pretty awesome for them. Although the Eagles are apparently interested in potentially trading for the pass rusher as well. But the Bengals just dished out a lot of money. But maybe they're just starting to go all in, pay their own guys that have been playing very well for the past few years. Reward the guys that have done you well and try to build around them. They got some draft picks, so we'll see. Chiefs Super Bowl hangover, I can see. Yeah, I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm super happy that the Eagles won the Super Bowl 40-22. Check out the music video on my YouTube. But yeah, Christian Gonzalez or Quinyon Mitchell. I like Quinyon Mitchell, but that's only because he's been on the field a little bit longer. I do love Gonzo. He was one of my favorite cornerbacks coming out, but he's been inconsistent just because he hasn't been on the field so much. Meanwhile, Quinyon and Cooper DeJean were locked down. Well, maybe not lockdowns, but they were solid rookies and contributors and helped the Eagles win a Super Bowl. So I cannot complain there. Is this the design for the second Super Bowl ring? It's okay if it is. It's pretty cool. Bracketology just came out, so it's March Madness is about to come. Very excited for that. Go UNC Tar Heels. Go VCU Rams. I think West Virginia got snubbed, so those are the teams that I typically root for. I went to West Virginia. My best friend's dad played soccer at UNC, and I just watched a lot of them. And VCU, I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, so they were the home team. But we are not really talking about college basketball. But let me know your teams and I guess who you're trying to root for all the way, because I have no idea who's good in college basketball this year. But moving on, NFL free agency has been pretty fun and exciting. Definitely preparing for the draft as well, which is just in another month from now. Buccaneers outside linebacker Hassan Reddick is very excited to rebound from a bizarre year with the Jets. He got traded from the Eagles to the Jets, then went to like Japan, never had a contract, then signed a contract like week 4, and who knows. Waiting for the Eagles to make a move. I'm not really sure if the Eagles are really making too many moves. A lot of the replacements for the guys that they lost are already on the roster. I think that a lot of the younger guys are going to start stepping into bigger roles on the Eagles. They lose Isaiah Rodgers, in steps Keely Ringo. They lose the pass rusher, Josh Sweat. Here comes Nolan Swift and Jalix Hunt. Mekhi Becton was signed to the Chargers, and the Eagles traded for Kenyon. I forget his last name, but traded away CJ Gardner-Johnson, which is a big loss, don't get me wrong. But maybe they really like Sidney Jones, or maybe they like the safety from Georgia this year, who's really nice. Kenyon Green, thank you in the comments. Keegan Barnett. I definitely skipped out on that name for a moment. DeAndre Hopkins signs with the Ravens, where it seems like all veteran wide receivers sort of go to early retirement. OBJ went there, and we'll see. I definitely like Hopkins and think that he should be, a sure hands receiver for Lamar and maybe get them to the Super Bowl like he helped Pat Mahomes do this year. But he also had a drop in the Super Bowl, so I'm not complaining. Go Birds. Justin Reed says playing for the Saints is a dream come true and aims to be a tone setter next to Tyrann Mathieu. That's definitely going to be an awesome safety tandem for the Saints. They also re-sign Chase Young, who had a decent year for them, so we'll see. Seahawks, I wouldn't necessarily say are a top 5 defense. They are a very good defense, but I have not been loving what the Seahawks have been doing in this offseason so far. I think Geno Smith is realistically better than Sam Darnold, who they are paying more. I get that Sam Darnold's young and coming off his best season, but he was also throwing to Jamar Chase the whole season. Like, if I were an NFL quarterback, I'm sure I could throw couple thousand yards to that guy. But I digress because I was not gifted physically to be an NFL quarterback. Maybe a running back on my best day, or a kicker. Cooper Kupp signs a 3-year deal with Seahawks, as we were just mentioning. And I do like that pairing with Darnold. I think that they should be maybe parallel. They definitely have to add another wide receiver. I hear that Matthew Golden, the Texas wide receiver, that they might be interested in him, who was talking a big game at the combine, thinking that he was going to run like a 4-2 or beat his former Texas teammate Xavier Worthy's time. Clearly that didn't happen, but that's fine. Steelers have a great defense. I love them, especially since they added Patrick Queen last year from the rival Ravens. I thought that was a very strategic, great addition, and I'm a big Patrick Queen fan. But yeah, they did lose a cornerback, but then they also signed Darius Slay. Big play Slay. So sad that he left the Eagles, but on to black and yellow pastures in Pittsburgh. Bears are going to the playoffs next year. I think the Bears could be going to the playoffs next year, honestly. They have been making some nice additions in free agency to the offense and defensive lines. I hear that they're interested in Ashton Genty, which would be an awesome running back for them, even though I do like DeAndre Swift, and I think he had a pretty nice year for them. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see who's their wide receiver 3 in Chicago. I wish Rome Odunze had more of an impact. It's a little hard when you got DJ Moore and Keenan Allen on the outside. But Keenan Allen is still right now a free agent, but can definitely contribute to wherever offense he goes to. He's still a fantastic route runner, so we will see where that goes or where he goes. Cowboys signed Dante Fowler to a 1 year deal, and DeMarcus Lawrence leaves in free agency. And DeMarcus Lawrence was even talking trash, saying that he thinks he had a better chance of winning a Super Bowl with, I'm pretty sure the Seahawks is where he signed, than the Cowboys. So I guess that's some internal news about how about them Cowboys are doing. Bengals should have let T walk, and I mean I don't know if they should have let him walk. They need to retain good players, and they have two almost wide receiver ones. Jamar Chase is one of the best wide receivers in the league. And it's good to pay the guys that have done well for you, and retain blue chip players. You saw how that bit the Giants in the butt losing Saquon last year. So yeah, Myles Garrett is pretty happy or content with the Cleveland Browns right now. Signed a mega deal and had the largest non-quarterback contract in the league. But then Jamar Chase just collected a big old bag too. Josh Sweat, former Eagles pass rusher, is joining his defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon, who was with the Eagles in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and then took the head coaching job in Arizona. So a nice reunited, and it feels so good. And Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have never been apart pretty much since their days at LSU. So pretty awesome to see that they also got reunited for the next 4 years as well. Pretty wild to think that Milton Williams on the Patriots is getting more money than Tom Brady ever did, especially considering Milton Williams hasn't even played a snap for them. Played an awesome season with the Eagles at D tackle, but the Eagles had depth at D tackle. Jalen Carter is pretty much going to reset the market in a couple of years. He seems like the next Aaron Donald, and then they also have Jordan Davis, who's just a big old body who eats up. I'm excited for the Steelers and DK Metcalf and George Pickens. I think that that's going to be an awesome and extremely entertaining duo. It's just a matter of who's going to be throwing them the ball. Very curious. It's most likely going to be Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, although the dark horse candidate is also Mason Rudolph, or at least to rejoin the roster and back up one of those guys. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I mean, Milton Williams is good. I can't say that he deserved all that money, but coming off a Super Bowl and a career year, congratulations. Chiefs signed Gardner Minshew to back up Pat Mahomes. That'll be interesting as he started a couple games for the Raiders, a division rival, and also was on the Eagles a couple years ago. So maybe has some insights that he can provide Pat Mahomes. Hopefully not. But I love Uncle Rico, and I'm excited to see him on the sidelines next to Andy Reid, because that is actually going to be a pretty entertaining duo. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are going to go crazy next year. Yeah, I think so. But, it's going to be a little bit tougher without Sweat. So hopefully they can still get a nice pass rush with Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith. And all the other guys. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles added a pass rusher in this year's draft. The Birds love to build within the trenches, and that's one of the reasons they are the champions this year. But what else is going on? Let me know if you have any questions. Herbert does have some help, actually. They improved the O-line, getting Mekhi Becton. They got Najee Harris, one of the best, straight line runners. And apparently Jim Harbaugh tried to recruit Najee Harris at Michigan when he was going to Bama. So I think that there's a long history, and I think he's going to do really well behind that O-line. They also bring back Mike Williams on offense. Their defense is definitely going to be maybe taking a little bit of a step back without Bosa, but I'm pretty sure they re-signed Khalil Mack. So, I still have faith in the Chargers. I think that they could be a playoff team next year. Past that, I don't really know, but that's just because the AFC is so competitive with the Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, and Bengals, and really really the AFC is, maybe even the Dolphins can make a scare, but we'll see. A lot of people don't really trust the. Let's see what's happening with Diggs. He's trending on Twitter. Just in, wide receiver Diggs posted Bill's photo on Instagram. Maybe there's a reunion back in Buffalo. Most likely not, but we will see. I guess that's what was trending for that. Jalen Hurts has a beautiful deep ball and loves to throw the ball to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I think I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon. I'm getting a little tired, but just wanted to break down the big T. Higgins and Jamar Chase content. It's pretty exciting that Joe Burrow can continue to throw to those guys going forward. And they each got the bag. The Cincinnati Bengals were not really sure if they were going to be able to pay both of them. But then, they drop over $100 million for both of them. So for 4-year deals. And, Jamar Chase gets 4 years, $161 million, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. And T. Higgins gets 4 for $115, which are both pretty hefty deals. T. Higgins was tagged 2 years in a row. Oh, sorry, yes, that came out. Making him the highest paid number 2 wide receiver in NFL history. But we'll see how they perform on the field and if they play up to their contracts. They've been in a dynamic duo so far, so hopefully they can continue to go in that direction. Looks like the Phillies won 12-1 against the Orioles, so whoopee there. Minnesota Ja Joyner has met with the Eagles, not on a formal visit, but was all smiles during these conversations. So keep up with that. He's a big body guy, 6'5", edge rusher who can develop nicely in Philly. So we like to potentially see that. T-Pain signed with the Giants. That's pretty cool. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Follow Shawnee Football on all social media. Get the recap on YouTube if you missed anything. And, buy some cool gear at Fanatics. They definitely have all your favorite sports merchandise. So I'll definitely go on with other breaking news. But until next time, thank you for tuning in. And go Birds. NFL Free Agency, baby.